Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So you may have stumbled across a lot of different companion bonuses, and you may be wondering, why does nobody use these? Why are they in none of the people's builds? You have ones that you'd look at and you'd think, they could be pretty appealing. 10% chance to poison your target, 112 magnitude. Again here, 112 magnitude. What happens if I'm a class who can hit really often? Can I trigger these and potentially use them instead of some other companion bonuses? Right now, the core bonuses for a damage dealer is Minsk, the Neverwinter Knight, the Patiri, and then the Tamed Raptor. Now what if you didn't have the Neverwinter Knight as an exclusive companion? It only comes out in events. Could you use something else as an alternative? Or maybe you could use them already as alternatives. Maybe there are some of them that are better. So yeah, I went and tested over 20 of these bonuses to see, are they any good? Do they have any impact? And what is the problem with them? Why do they perform so terribly? So we got our list of companions here. There are over 20 of them, each of them having that unique effect of when you deal damage to your target, you have a chance to cause them to take additional damage. Now 112 magnitude is not that bad. Let's say I can hit 5 times a second with Duelist Flurry. This is putting in the best scenario in order to trigger this. You'd think I'd be able to get that hit then every 2 seconds at least. That should add up to a significant amount when my at-will power already only has 35 magnitude and this would be 112, right? You'd think it'd be great. Same with the Manticore doing 150 magnitude, even more. Or the Warboar, also 150 magnitude. Or Grung with 225. Why are all these bonuses so bad? Why does nobody use them? Well, the simple answer is because Cryptic Studios really screwed up the coding for them. When you go in combat here and you deal damage, you do have the chance to trigger them, and they do trigger. They have that 10% chance. The issue is that 225 magnitude is not respecting all of your other statistics. Your main damage stats, your damage buffs are all not affecting the damage of this. We can see Grung Instincts here. It's only dealing like upwards of 1500 damage, which is abysmal compared to all of my other damage. It's like less than 0%. Now this isn't a very long test. Let's have a look. Here we go. Much longer test. And you can see, yeah, we done over 154 million damage. Grung Instincts only managed to do nearly 5 million damage, which is, yeah, less than 1% of our overall damage done by this bonus. Horrendous. And that is again because that damage from Grung, it is not getting boosted by my stats. It is not getting boosted by my damage bonuses. And so it does barely any damage. The only thing that affects all of these companion bonuses, for example, if we take an easier to explain option like the Manticore, just does 150 magnitude damage. You can see that hit there is always 16,652, exactly what we see here. Now this is equal to our base damage times 1.5. You see that right here. The magnitude is divided by 10. That's how it works mathematically with all of your other magnitudes as well. It's multiplied by your base damage, and it should be multiplied by all of your stats and damage buffs, debuffs, but it is not. And so it only results in that damage hit. If it was actually affected by your stats, you can see it should deal over 109,000 damage versus just what it is at 16.5 thousand. That is why all of these bonuses are terrible. Cryptic could surely do something to fix this. Make these magnitude damage hits actually be affected by your stats, and then we could go and retest them all to see if they'll actually perform any good. Again, I tested over 140 of these. We can see nearly a 4-minute test with Arania, and it's dealing like less than 1% of our damage there. We check with the baby owlbear. Again, less than 1% of our damage. Same with the black scorpion, cockatrice, con artist, the death slad. The death slad actually dealing a lot more damage than everything else, but it's still only 4%. What percent would these have to actually deal? Well, they'd have to deal like 11% or more in order to compete with the Neverwinter Knight. The Neverwinter Knight, when you compare it with the damage buffs, if you already have 70%, added the Neverwinter Knight, the knight would give you an overall 4.41% damage bonus. So just as here again, since the overall damage in our test is about 40% of what we would normally deal when we're using all of our encounters, deities, and mounts, in these logs, the companion bonus would have to deal 11% to compete, but it does not. It deals like 4% or less. Again, to just show my point, this is like an overall damage log of one of the best rogue players on the PC server. This is within Xemnit's Reliquary, over 600,000 encounter DPS. We add up all the damage percentages of the damage things we are using during our test, which is just like our bleeds, our at will, touch of wind, oppressive darkness, plus then the companion bonus. And we compare all of those versus what you see in this log, and yeah, it results in only 40% of the maximum damage you would be dealing, and so then we use this math and we find 11% is what the companion bonus would need to deal in order to compete. And yes, absolutely none of them come to the level of viability, this being the Tomb Spider, the Vicious Dire Wolf, the War Dog, the Were-Rat Thief, Xuna, Elminster, Grung, Lich Makus, the Manticore, the Remorhaz, the Renegade Evoker, the Shadow Elemental, the Spine Devil, and the Stalwart Lion. Now you may have seen the bonus, the Netherese Warlock. It says it would give a 7.5% damage bonus when you're behind your enemies, but it doesn't work like that. It works like an additional hit, and sadly, those additional hits again suffer from not being affected by your stats and damage buffs. So the overall net gain by using it is like less than 1%. Versus again, it should show like 11% here. But it's not that true 7.5% bonus like the Neverwinter Knight is. Because again, it's just an additional hit, not affected by all those buffs and bonuses and stats. Sad to see, so it's not something you can compare versus the Knight. It's nowhere near competitive. So if you wanted to compare them against each other, what they would actually benefit you with how much, you can see that overall, the Death Slad would be the best at 1.41%. Ultimately, that sums it up. And that's the reason why people stick to just bonuses that give you stats. They do not go and use these weird bonuses with all those damage hits. And to cover it a bit more, they do not use bonuses which are like plus 11% damage against at-wills. That works. And you'll have like the Siege Master, which is 11% to at-wills all the time. It's a terrible bonus. Why? Because again, your at-wills only contribute to like 40% at best of your overall damage. On a rogue, Duelist Flurry is only 8%. Multiply that by 11% and that would only be 8.88%, less than a 1% gain. That is why you do not use those damage bonuses, which are like plus to encounter power damage, plus to at-will damage, plus to daily power damage. All of those individual bonuses would have to equate to like over 15 to 20% damage buff versus something that's just 7.5% to everything, 8.6% to everything, 11% to everything, because your damage breaks down to a lot of different things, and just having like a 11% boost to just your at-wills or just your encounter powers is nowhere near as good. It results in like a 2% gain. It's minuscule. So hopefully this clears some things up for you. I'm going to make a video covering the best bonuses you should use as a DPS with an entire list, so you can choose ones which are more within your budget range rather than just going for the top best ones. But again, that'll be for another video. Hopefully I've explained myself well enough here and you understand why nobody uses these bonuses in endgame, why nobody recommends them, and if they do, well, they are just kind of trolling. Those bonuses are utterly terrible. Or maybe they just fell for the trap and don't really know or understand how they actually work. On a last note, don't copy my rogue build here. This is for testing. I have removed my damage set here, made it so that I am not getting too many irregularities, having my redemption to heal myself while the dummy attacks me. So with that said, a special thank you to all these channel members for their added support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.